it on? It's on! Hi guys! Whoops! Careful, baby! Hi guys, we are live today. I am Kristen from Little White Dog Company and this is Pet Talk Live. I know I haven't seen you guys in forever because the summer has been crazy, but I met Nicole last week and I wanted to introduce her to everybody and her lovely puppy. Nicole owns Pup Scouts Dog Training here in Las Vegas, and we're going to talk all about dog training, Pup Scouts, and how to train your dog, and if your dog needs training today. So if you're watching this live, you can type your questions. If you're watching it on the replay, you can type your questions later, and either Nicole or I will answer them on Facebook after the event, okay? Yay! Okay, so Nicole, let's talk a little bit about your business and your dog and everything about you.
Sure. So basically, do I talk to you or do I talk there?
Doesn't matter.
Lovely. Sit. Sit down. No more. Lay down. Stay.
This is Lovely, by the way, and she is lovely.
She's a 6-month-old miniature golden doodle.
Yay!
But basically, I'm a dog trainer. I've been dog training for about, I want to say, pretty much my whole life. But I only started taking it professionally in about the last 5 years or so. I do basic obedience, I do public access socialization, and then I also do as needed training, which would just be catered to whatever your training needs are. But I think training is very important because the more dogs that are trained, they are less likely to be ending up in a shelter or, you know, just running loose around the streets because they're valued, and you build a bond with your dogs, and that's ideally what I like people to do. Sit.
Okay, so before we get too much into training, let's talk about Lovely. Let me just show how cute she is. Look how cute she is! Ah! She's still a puppy. How old is she?
6 months.
6 months. Okay, so I'm being naughty with her and just holding her and snuggling her, but she's really good. She listens really well, and 6 months is still a puppy.
Yeah.
So puppies require a ton of training. If you're thinking about getting a puppy, you should always seek the advice of a trainer. See if it's something that you're ready to get yourself into, because I think a lot of people get a puppy and they think like,
don't know what they're
puppy!
doing.
And then the puppy gets into everything, and then they're like, I don't want this puppy.
Yep.
And before they go to a trainer or do any of the things that could help the puppy to be a better dog, they end up dumping the puppy at a shelter, which is what we just talked about.
Yep.
So let's talk about kind of the three main things that you offer at Pup Scouts, which is, let's start with the basic obedience. So what is the basic obedience, and kind of what does it entail, and who is it for?
The basic obedience program is for people who need a little bit of assistance with their dog, or a lot of assistance for especially new dog owners, people who've never had a dog before or never had their own personal pet. We do sit, down, stay, leash walking skills. A lot of times the dog is just dragging you across the street. I like a tight, not really a tight heel, but somewhere where she's kind of in my invisible box.
Yeah.
We work on just basic obedience commands, core commands that build a firm foundation for you and your dog. It's just basic stuff that hopefully you guys can retain.
And all of your training sessions are one-on-one.
Yes,
right?
It is one-on-one.
It's not group like you would
no.
get at a PetSmart or another facility.
No,
These are one-on-one
I
sessions.
feel that when you do one-on-one, you cater all your training to that person, and you're not sharing it, with another person. It's just you and me. We're working on your dog, and I can focus on that one person.
Right, exactly. So who is basic obedience for? I know, is it for people with puppies? Is it for people with medium-aged dogs, or is it for people with elderly dogs, or all of them?
All dogs. It's definitely a little bit harder when they are older, depending on how old they are and how long they've been doing their bad habits for. But I mean, any dog I've trained as old, so far the oldest I've trained is 7 years old. The youngest I've trained is 8 weeks old.
Yeah. So if someone adopted, let's say, a senior dog from a shelter, because I love old dogs. I have really old, like 13-year-old dogs. So if someone adopted an old dog from a shelter, like, you could still call Nicole at Pup Scouts, and she could help you train this senior dog that may have been in a home where no one was supervising them or giving them any kind of training.
Yes. So I do offer a free consultation to meet you first, meet your dog first, to just make sure that you're comfortable and that I can see, is it something I can work with? Because sometimes there are things that, if it's not basic obedience, it might be really, really bad aggression. I don't really do aggression training. It's just, all the basic obedience, public access, socialization, task training, but anything that is really, really aggressive, I don't really do too much of that. So I do have to evaluate first and see, is it something I can work with.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, let's talk about your other services. What's the next one?
The next one, she's eating that.
Oh. No eating leaves, girl.
The next one I offer is socialization and public access. That is making sure that your dog is well trained in the public world, practicing all their basic obedience commands when there's distractions like the leaves blowing, the peanuts on the ground. So she's in socialization right now.
Yeah.
We're working on people. That's her kryptonite. She just loves to play with people.
That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing.
But it's making sure that your dog is not jumping on people, especially kids, barking at other kids, barking at other dogs, lunging. Just making sure that they can do all their core commands in a public world. Elevators, stairs, things like that.
Yeah, that's what my dogs need really bad. But they're all really old. So you want your dog to be a well-rounded dog. You want to be able to take your dog out into public places. You know, here we have a lot of outdoor dining that you could take your pet.
Lazy dog.
But Lazy Dog, Tacotarian has patio seating. A lot of other places have patio seating. So you could potentially take your dog all these places, but if your dog can't behave in public, then you're not going to be able to take your dog any of those places. So Nicole can help you with that, which is just basic socialization, things like that. Okay, well let's talk about your third service.
The third one is as needed. So it's basically, you might not need 5 classes because that's what the obedience program and the socialization program, it's 1 class a week for 5 weeks.
Okay, so
Each
5 weeks, 5 classes.
Each class is an hour long, and not everybody needs 5 classes. Maybe some people need 1, maybe some people need 2, and maybe they'll see me again next month for a third, but it's really dependent on what they need. They might not need sit down, stay, come in. Maybe they just need barking at the door. Maybe they just need jumping on strangers.
That guy's leaf blowing while we're doing this. Sorry. Hopefully you can still hear us.
Yeah, and then I also am developing another program as we speak. It's not really there yet, but it's for service dog training and therapy dog training. It's just basically basic obedience, socialization, and then task training. Yeah. Teaching them a task to do for you that you can't do for yourself as well.
Oh, okay. So what would be an example of like task training? Like a task that you would want your dog to do that you can't do?
Well, I've trained dogs for diabetics.
Okay.
Teaching them to smell low and high blood sugars.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so they're focusing on you. When your blood sugar drops, they smell it, they start alerting. I'm actually training her as well for myself, for anxiety, PTSD, and things like that. So she's learning how to respond when I start like rocking back and forth and crying. She diverts my attention.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So what kind of dogs are the easiest dogs to train?
I think, honestly, I like bigger dogs.
Yeah.
They're just easier because they're not treated like...
You asking us how, like, wait and not blow? Is that rude?
He's gonna be like, just doing my job.
You're like, hey, do you mind? We're, like, videoing. Okay. So, the easiest kinds of dogs are, you think large dogs, or you just prefer large dogs?
I mean, I like every dog. I just find it to be easier when a dog is larger because they're less likely to be treated like a child. Like the Yorkie, they're always carried. You don't teach your dog to walk on a leash because you're always carrying the dog.
That's so true. I'm guilty of that. I have chihuahuas.
Yeah, so and also like, it feels easier to me to train a bigger dog, especially for the barking, because bigger dogs are easier to stop barking than small dogs because small dogs have big dog syndrome and they like to just bark at everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Sit down.
Sit down 5 minutes.
Cool. Okay. So, what else do you want to talk about? You want to do some demonstrations?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's do some demos with Lovely. Okay, so where's Lovely at in her training at 6 months?
She is in socialization. Come on, sit. So she knows all of her basic obedience commands, but now it's making sure that she can do them outside as well.
Okay.
Just because she's perfect in the home doesn't mean she'll do it outside.
Right,
There are
because
other
she gets
distractions.
distracted. Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's see. Lovely. Come here. Up, up. Lovely. Up.
Oh, perfect.
Yes. Good. Right here. The leaves might distract her.
Just don't block her. There we go.
Stay. Down. Yes. Stay. Sit. Yes. Good girl. And I like to do trick training as well. Circle. Yes. Rewind.
Don't fall.
Lovely. Come here. Lovely. Hey.
Do you do commands like leave it and things like
Yeah,
that?
leave it. So she knows leave it really well in the house, but we've not practiced it outside yet, which is why she's not the greatest at that. Right now, the biggest focus is not jumping on people because when she gets so excited, she wants. Like I taught her how to jump in my arms.
Yeah.
So she thinks that people want to carry her, and we don't
Right.
want that.
So you have to differentiate like this from
Yes.
like the
Yeah.
actual like just
Lovely.
hanging out.
Come here.
Come here, baby. Come here.
Good girl. Let's sit. And weave. Yes. Weave. Yes. Over.
Yay!
Yes. Good girl. Sit.
Yay! Oh my god, she's like the cutest thing ever.
Good girl. Down. All the way. Stay. And then just working on down stays, making sure that she can hold her command.
Right.
When people pass by and people are running around, you know, I've trained dogs who can hold down stays at the Premium Outlet Mall, and people are walking past them.
And they're
it's
totally
very busy,
fine, yeah.
And they focus on me because that's the kind of focus I want.
Yeah. And I think too, like, while the all of these things are cute and like she's so darling, but they're important too because if your dog gets out of the house and you don't have a command to get that dog back, you know, there's a chance that dog's gonna bolt and then you're gonna have a lost dog. Whereas if your dog is highly trained and maybe it won't even run out the door, but let's say it gets spooked and runs out the door, and you have strict commands that your dog knows to listen to you, then your dog's gonna come back, and then you know you're not gonna lose your dog.
Yeah.
So like all of these things are important, and let's talk about too like how dogs really enjoy mental stimulation. Like they're really looking for that. So let's talk a little bit about that.
So I have a lot of clients who say that their dogs there's just so much energy, and I ask them, the first thing I ask is, do you go on walks? And a lot of them surprisingly say they go on walks like once a week, and that's not enough, especially for high energy dogs and puppies. They need lots of physical exercise and mental stimulation. Just because you ran the block doesn't mean you used your brain at all.
Right.
You might be physically tired, but I can still chew on the corner of the couch because I'm right next to it and I'm bored. So I always tell people that nose work, teaching your dog to use their nose and smell things and scent things, that's a really great way to get them to be mentally stimulated.
Because sometimes like mental exhaustion is just as important as physical exhaustion.
Yes.
Like they need both. And I think this is something that my clients come to me a lot. As a dog walking company, we get a lot of like, well, like we're not really walking our dog, or we're walking and people are like, they don't understand why their dog is doing all these destructive behaviors like peeing in the house or tearing stuff up or, you know, just things like that. And it's like, well, are you walking your dog every single day? And I know it's hard. Like it's hard. I'm busy too. But they really, you really see the difference in a dog that walks every single day, has physical and mental stimulation compared to a dog that's just sitting at home doing nothing all day.
Yes, exactly.
So, what else? You're so cute. What do you think is the biggest misconception about training? I know I have my answer, but I'll let you answer first.
Let's see. I don't know. I mean, like, I know training tools.
Well, just about like how people perceive like training their dog.
A lot of people think it's too strict. I feel that, you know, having control is a good thing. It's not like I'm not very strict with her, but we have a relationship. It's built on balance.
Right.
And a lot of people, they feel bad. They say, like one of my clients, she didn't want to do crate training, and she said that her dog only, you know, it's a puppy also, but she says our dogs are only with us for a short time. I don't want to put them in the crate, you know, but then when they're not home, he goes through the trash can. He does all these things. So everything is a tool, and a lot of people, they don't see it that way. And I think another thing is, people do go to get training, but they don't maintain it.
Exactly.
And that's one of the biggest things. I've had a lot of people not work with me, but they've gone to other companies and get training, and then when I say, oh, what happened? They say, oh, well, we didn't maintain it, and I didn't like them. And I was like, well, it's your job to maintain what your dog knows, because if you don't, it's just gonna go out the window.
That was gonna be my answer. She stole it. That's the biggest misconception is people think like they're just gonna hire you and you're gonna fix their dog and then they're just gonna have a perfect dog. And that's not how the training works. Like 90% of training is like you training the people.
Yep.
And not you training the dog.
Yes.
So you have to practice these things at home. You can't just expect to hire Nicole or any trainer and just have like them send you a perfect dog home after 5 sessions. Like this is stuff that has to be maintained for the rest of their life.
Yes.
And you have to practice it and you have to implement all of these things, and that's how you get a better, well-rounded dog. Right?
Yes, exactly. I've had just an example. I always tell my clients, I always say that the success you want to see is dependent on you and your dog, not me, because I'm only with you once a week for an hour. And I had a client who every time I went to their house and to train their dog, they went to the kitchen to watch Netflix. And at the end of the 5 weeks, they said, can we do it again? And I said, no, because your dog is great with me, but does nothing with you. And I tried to get their attention and tried to get them involved, but they didn't want to do the work.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to be willing to put in the work if you want a well-rounded, highly trained dog, or even a well-rounded, decently trained dog. You know, like some people are okay with just having like basic commands like sit, stay, things like that they can use in the house, and decent socialization.
Yes.
So it's whatever level of training you want for your dog, like that's the amount of work that you have to put in. It's equal to what you get. So if you have any questions for Nicole, do you have anything else you want to talk about? Let's promote your Facebook and your website.
Yeah. So I have a Facebook. It's Pup Scouts Dog Training. I also have an Instagram, which is at Pup Scouts Dog Training. I have a Twitter, which is at Pup Scouts LV. And I have a website, pupscoutsdogtraining.com.
Cool, and you can go on there, contact her, sign up for any of her services. If you want to ask her more questions, you can ask her directly. You can also put them in the comment thread here on the video, and one of us will get back to you. You're tagged on the video, so she'll see all of the comments you post. And if there's any other business in town you'd like us to see, or any other thing you'd like to talk about, let us know, and we will hit them up. And hopefully we'll have more videos. Sorry, I've been so crazy busy, but I will see you guys later. Thanks.
Bye.
I don't know how to stop it.
I think it's the top, or maybe not the top, bottom.